Shione Sugihara, the Japanese diplomat who saved the lives of thousands of Jews during the Second World War by giving them transit visas, in his diary comments that he was at a Jewish home in Kaunas in Lithuania. I believe it was a Hanukkah party. And two things struck him as very interesting about the behavior of the Jews. Number one, how much they ate. Number two, how much they talked. Both of them were a lot more than the average Japanese that he had encountered until that time. And he is 100% right. We do tend to eat a lot. We are gastrocentric. But in addition, we also talk a lot of conversation. But I think part of that is that the Jewish people have been involved in a conversation that started approximately 3,200 years ago at Mount Sinai. And that conversation continued through 40 years in the desert, 400 years or so until the first temple. It continued. We have remnants of that conversation from the time of the first temple. We have a verse on a little silver amulet in one place. We have inscriptions in other places. We have seals of kings, etc. Continued through the time of the second temple. Jews exiled to Babylon, and it continued in the form of the Mishnah, written in Israel, the north of Israel, by Yehuda Hanassi, 200 CE. That conversation then moved from Israel to Babylon, continued in the academies of Sura and Pumbedisa for 1,000 years. The conversation moved from the Talmud, then it moved to France, to the Champagne region of France, where Rashi wrote his famous commentary in the 12th century, 11th, 12th century. And it moved a little further, it kept going. The conversation continued with his grandchildren in France, in England, some in Germany. The conversation continued with Maimonides in Cairo, with Rabbi Yitzhak Al-Fazi in Spain, with the Rashba, who had a yeshiva in Barcelona, Nachmanides, who lived in Girona, and Girona in Catalonia, and it continued. And then it moved a bit east. It went to Europe, to Maharal of Prague, and it was also in Italy, Rabbi Ovadia Bartanura, and the Ovadia Sforno, and other great Italian scholars and sages. The conversation was in Eastern Europe, in Poland, in Posen, Rabbi Akiva Eger, and Rabbi Chaim moved to Lithuania, the Vilna Gaon, Rabbi Chaim Soloveitchik, and I was studying a Mishnah with my students in class this morning. I said to them that we are actually part of this conversation that actually started 3,200 years ago, went all the way through all those countries and all those times, and has ended up, at least in our case, in Washington Heights in New York, which is absolutely an incredible thing. Now, I don't know if there's ever been a conversation that has gone on longer than the Jewish conversation about the Torah, the Jewish conversation with God, the Jewish conversation with each other, the Jewish conversation with the world. It is our hope, our prayer, and we pray for this every day, that every single one of us, Tein chelkeinu b'toratecha, give us our portion. We ask God to grant us our portion in his amazing divine conversation that has been going on for thousands of years. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Listen to the Torah when it is read, because that is part of the conversations, listening to the other, and then discuss that conversation with others. Hopefully they'll listen to you, although if they're Jewish, not so sure. But again, carry on the conversation. Have a wonderful Shabbos. This is Mordechai Becher with the Gateway's Parashat Law.